nice to have you all here, and we thank the Council on Aging for always providing a nice little coffee for us. And they all, just before we get into art, they wanted me to remind you all that if you want to sign up to go to the top of the town, the deadline is tomorrow, and we'd really like to have you come. So think about that. This is Max Mason. I don't think he even needs any introduction. I think most of you know him. And I think you all have seen the gorgeous work here. I hope you all get into the living room because there's more paintings there.
Yeah, the living room is identified as the meeting room.
The meeting room, all right.
Yeah, so it's a little confusing, inconsistent. But that's
a little of that. Anyway, so would you like to say something about your work or how you got started or whatever you want to?
If anyone has any questions, I'm glad to answer them. I like the work to really speak for itself, you know. I was thinking about this. I remember when I finished that, I put it in the garage up high in the rafters because I was disgusted with it. And only recently did I take it down and use it because it's a familiar thing, and I thought it would be useful for this show. And, you know, otherwise, I don't know, I've always painted, going back to about 10 years old. I still have some of those things that were done when I was 10 years old. And I never really thought I could earn a living with it, so that's why I became a landscape architect, and that provided a good, life as far as income was concerned. But I've never really stopped painting. I always painted even while I was practicing landscape architecture, mostly on vacations. And after, I'm 82 years old now, and there's a hell of a lot of vacations.
Well, I want to close that door.
Up to a big storage problem. And, it just goes on, and the piles get taller and taller. And when you get, particularly watercolors, you can store pretty easily, but oils, they stick together when they're piled up. So it's sort of a problem, actually. And my son, who's also a painter, when he can't use a painting, he rolls them up, takes them off with the stretchers, as they call them, the wood frame that makes the painting stretch tight. He just rolls them up and stores them that way, and then unrolls them very slowly to avoid cracking them. And I haven't tried that myself, but it might be a solution because I've obviously got to do something with these things. But anyway, this has been a nice experience having Bemis Hall show them. I don't know, the sales won't reduce the volume very much, but it's just the way life is. The things you like doing don't necessarily make for much monetary gain, and I've always enjoyed it. That's all I can say, really. And I think anybody who's interested, just go out and do it. I know at Harvard, the head of the Department of Landscape Architecture, Hideo Sasaki, had graduated from the University of Illinois as a painter. And I think his influence on a lot of projects that were in school projects reflected that sensitivity to painting. And here's a neat guy. He's dead now. He died just a few years ago. But I just remember him commenting on a project I had done where I used sort of a cross-hatching and with colored pencils to form a tree line. And he looked at that damn drawing and looked at it, and most people, didn't pay any attention to it at all. But Hideo kept looking at it, and I thought, it's really interesting. It's so stuck in my mind. I never commented on it all. But anyway.
Still wondering.
I'm just rambling. I'm not really saying anything. Anybody have any questions? I'd be glad to.
I know you are junior. Tell us a little bit about the third.
Well, I've written up in a blurb, biographical blurb there. It's available to pick up. And my son is a painter full-time and earns his living that way, along with his wife, who's more of a bigger earner than he is down in Philadelphia. But he signs his name Max Mason, and I sign mine Max Mason Jr., which makes it look like there's some confusion. That's why on these things I write, sometimes on the back or wherever, I sign my name Max Mason Jr., born 1927. So that anchors my position. And I don't know if he's ever going to sign his name Max Mason III or not, but that's his business, really.
Are your styles similar?
Pardon me?
Are your styles of painting similar? Might people not know
really,
which?
Not really. He can paint like the old Dutch masters,
Okay.
and tends to have a still life of his. There's a couple of milk cartons and some oranges in our dining room at home, but you would think it maybe would have been painted in the 17th century in Holland, but he doesn't always paint that way. But he does a lot. He's a fan of a baseball fan, and he has gotten work painting for the Philadelphia Phillies and all the executive offices down there in Philadelphia, which are adjacent to the new stadium, which is a beautiful thing. All have his paintings in their offices, and then also he painted a huge mural out in left field back there next to a little restaurant in left field, and they somehow transferred the painting onto porcelain enamel, and so that they're weatherproof. And modern technology does such miraculous things. And
Max,
yeah.
how long did that one take you, the Pierce house?
This one?
Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, a couple of hours. I think I remember being bitten by mosquitoes. I was getting really I was sitting in the woods over there, just where, as you can see. And I didn't like it, and I took it home and I put it in the garage up in the rafters. And only recently I got it down because it was a familiar subject, and I thought maybe it would be good for the card to introduce this show. And and a couple of people have been interested in buying. Oh, Paulie Fransberg bought it. So, it's nice. Get rid of it.
You're doing mostly oil now?
Oh, so it depends, sometimes oil, you tend to get it on your clothes, and if you're not dressed appropriately, you end up looking pretty nasty, and so I paint with acrylics when I have to, because, well, at Concord, had a program where they'd paint the town, and I'd go over there in the morning and paint the town, and then bring it back to the Concord Art Association for auctioning in the afternoon. and it was a nice idea, and I liked it, so I participated in that for 7 years. And trouble was, I noticed the first time that the oil was so sticky, and people would buy it, and then they would take it back, and they would, so easy to mess it up, you know, because it's oil, just painted in the morning. So I started painting acrylics at that time when I was painting under those conditions. You know, it doesn't really matter what the medium is, you know, they're all the same, really. Just pastel drawings, or it all has to do with the feeling that they're doing, you know. The technique is, I don't know, you just pick it up, that's all.
Max, the big watercolor in the other room, the seascape, how long did that's a watercolor.
Yeah.
How long did that take?
Well, I can't tell you, it was done quite a few years ago.
It's beautiful.
70s.
It's really a nice one.
I like that too, because you used to spend summers on the Heron Island in Maine. I wouldn't go. My wife at the time, not Rachel, but Betty was her name, would go for the summer, and then I would go up on weekends and paint. And that's just a view out to Outer Heron and the White Islands, which is, I just like it because it sort of expresses the quality of the environment, really. The rocks and the water and the sea. You know.
But it was done at one sitting.
They're all that. I don't spend more time than they go
Because
pretty fast.
it's difficult to do a large watercolor at one sitting.
Well, not when you use a big brush.
What a setup.